Chainlink, which is a fascinating story to me because it's the meme coin that is actually very deadly serious. But they now have an agreement with Google where Google weather information is going to be integrated into their system. For those who aren't familiar, Chainlink is what's known as an oracle system. They provide data feeds that can be integrated into DeFi systems. In this case, it sort of points towards the role of weather in calculating risk for contracts that would, in theory, be set up to be, perpetual and automated like all DeFi things. So one good example might be the use of DeFi to set up farming or crop or other insurance that might depend on weather conditions. For example, some insurance plans have clauses that exclude coverage under particular extreme conditions. So this is really like a tiny little step towards this future where there's all kinds of information about the real world that's on the blockchain and integrated into DeFi systems and financial products. I do think it's also notable because of just the legitimacy conferred by this agreement with Google, which is, I think, a new level for Chainlink. But the real interesting thing here is this sort of sophisticated integration of data into the decentralized systems. I guess, Will, you're like fairly DeFi savvy, right? Does this speak to your soul?
I like to think so sometimes. The Chainlink integration is interesting. It's always good to be cautious about these Google integrations, and this one seems quite legitimate. But I haven't looked into it enough. But through the years, there's always been like these cryptocurrency companies or whatnot have integrated with Google to some degree, and then Google's like, well, they're using like Google Drive, so that's not really integration. But here it does seem like there's some aspect of validity to it, and I think you hit the nail on the head. The interesting thing about Chainlink is they're bringing like real world data to a blockchain. So when we talk about Bitcoin's just talking to itself. It's just it's inward looking, right? It's moving money from place A to place B, and then everyone in the outside world places value onto those transfers, and that's why Bitcoin has value. That's why it's denominated in dollars or yen or euro. But Chainlink is moving data, which data from the outside world moving onto a blockchain is going to be like really tough. Like, do you know if your weather data is accurate or not? Is someone lying to you to be able to trigger a smart contract so then it gives out a false payout or does not give a payout at all? These are the kind of questions that Chainlink and other Oracle systems are working on, and they really matter if you're going to be able to have a decentralized future where you have decentralized contracts, or you have decentralized applications that need outside data to operate on chain, and you need them to operate with efficiency and be trustworthy. And Chainlink's an interesting project because they're taking one way of doing it, but there's other projects that are taking different aspects. And to me, I think this is a big question for the next 5 years: is like which Oracle service gets it right and gets adopted by everybody. Zach, I want to give it to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Will for zooming out really capably there. I mean, I think the interesting thing about oracles is that it's like economics in action, right? You're trying to incentivize people to provide reliable data, and you're trying to punish those who look to game the system with bogus data. So the fact that these experiments continue is really interesting, and that they're adding weather, I think, again, speaks to this bigger of, hey, there might be a future in which these smart contracts can be responsive to all sorts of inputs, whether it's price data or if it's raining or not in Philadelphia. So that to me is super interesting. I'll toss it to Naomi to close.
I actually am going to go back to the first story of the day because we have some breaking news that apparently we do have unanimous consent on the Lamas-Warner compromise. They managed to get some language together.
Wow.
They managed to get, so Jake Chavinsky says we have a compromise amendment. Jerry explains the details in his thread. It's not perfect, but it's better than the original, and we should urge senators to support it. And it seems that they have, according to Coin Center, who says, thank you, Universe, for giving us unanimous consent on the Lamas-Warner compromise. So some news just released there. Pretty exciting that we're not going ahead with the original language in that bill, and that we were somehow managed to pull together this new language. So just an update for all of you.